So, what is basic economic problem? This is the question that you're going to be asked in any economics course. If you are a O-level student, then this would be entirely new to you. But if you have studied economics previously, then perhaps you might have an idea of this concept. Now, I'm going to assume that you have not studied economics previously and you are entirely new to this subject. So, let's start. What is a basic economic problem? The basic answer to this question is that there are limited resources but unlimited want. This means there's an end to resources but there's no end to the wants. This means resources are limited but wants are unlimited. Now in this tutorial I'm going to explain or elaborate this concept further on. Now the students often ask that how it is possible that resources are limited. This might be proven if you see world as a globe, as a ball which has an end to it. So if anything has an end to it or is limited in its size, we can conclude that the things that are present on this material, on this thing, would also be limited. Now in this scenario we have world which is limited in size. So the resources that are present on the world would also be limited because we could only squeeze some resources, we could only possibly squeeze a limited amount of resources on the surface of the earth. So we can conclude that resources are limited because world is limited in its size. On the contrary, human wants are constantly increasing. This is now a instinct of human. He desires of he has a desire of improving his life. He always wants to have more so he could make his life more comfortable. This is an entirely psychological concept for this I would not go into the detail of explaining this concept, but we can consider that, or we could write in our definition that human wants are constantly increasing and there is no end to this. But to this point in this tutorial I'm going to explain to you what we meant by this, or what is actually this concept that human wants are constantly increasing. Here I have drawn a diagram of a boy. Consider this boy of having needs, of demanding. So we consider this boy as having some needs. Now what is meant by the word need? By this we mean the basic requirement that are necessary to survive. In the human instinct there is this instinct of survival. Now there are three basic things that economists have identified as necessary for survival, and that is food, shelter and clothing. Now this boy here says I need food, shelter and clothing. This is his needs. Without this need he would die. That is food. Without food he would die. Without shelter he would die. And without clothing he would not die. But it is not possible to live in this world without clothing. So economists have also considered clothing as a need. So we can conclude that need are the basic things that are necessary for the survival, right? Now what does happen as he gets these three basic things? He has food to eat, he has a place to live, and he has some basic clothes to wear. Now his needs are satisfied. Now what does happen as his needs are satisfied? Now there is a next stage of human psychology, that his desires improve or he tends to need more. Now what he is thinking? Now I have those. By those we mean those needs. His needs are satisfied. Now he says, how about to eat from a restaurant and a bigger house? Now you can see that how his needs have changed, how his needs have improvised into wants. Now eating from a restaurant isn't required for his survival. He could eat basic bread and water to live. And living in a bigger house doesn't mean without living in a bigger house he would not probably die. But now he want to improve his life. That's why he has a desire to eat better food and to live in a luxurious house so that he could live more comfortably. So this is what is the basis of human psychology. The wants are changing in order to improve his life. A human is never satisfied from his life. Therefore, he always needs something more comfortable, something more bigger in order to live, in order to make his life more comfortable. So after his needs are satisfied, the next stage is that his needs are converted to the wants, and his wants are increasing in the next stage. Now what does happen as his wants, as his this these wants are also satisfied, now that he is now able to eat from a restaurant and also have a bigger house. Now the next stage is that now he's thinking, now I would like to have a mobile, even a bigger house, and want to travel the world. Now you can see that how his want of having a bigger house converts into even a bigger house. This means his wants are again increasing, and now how he is having new wants of having a mobile, of traveling the world. So you can see that how human wants are increasing. So the next stage is that his wants have improved and he wants even a more comfortable life. So after his needs are satisfied, we can assume that a human is never satisfied from his life and would always have a desire to have more and more and more and more. So we can conclude that his wants are unlimited, and the basic reason is that human is never satisfied from his life. This is the basic instinct in the human. So what is the difference between want and need? Concluding my discussion, need is the basic survival requirement of food, shelter and clothing. Food also includes water. And what is want? Wants are the desires to improve life, the very basic definition of the want. By desire we mean the things that are not necessary but would improve, would make the life more comfortable. And as I have already proven you that as a human is never satisfied from his life, his wants are constantly increasing. There is an end to his needs, but there is no end to its wants. So linking these two concepts, we can understand that as world is limited in its size, so resources are limited, and as it is in human instinct that he is never satisfied from his life, the wants are unlimited. So this gives the birth to the basic economic problem, that resources are limited in contrast to unlimited wants. Now the last thing that I would like to tell you in this tutorial is what is economics. Well, economics is a social science, but what is the purpose of economics, or what is the purpose of an economist? Well, the purpose of an economist, or the purpose of economics, or the definition of economics have the same answer to all of these three questions, and that is to study the mechanism of allocating the resources in the best possible way. This means if economist has a responsibility of distributing the resources in a way that maximum wants are satisfied, and economics deals with the mechanism of how these resources are allocated so that the best outcome arises, which results in the maximum wants being satisfied. I hope this gives you an idea of the basic economic problem and the basic idea of economics. In the next tutorial, I'm going to explain you the factors of production and other concepts that are required for the first chapter of AS level economics as well as for first chapter of O level economics. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe.